Hello, hope all is well. Yun. So before I get started in sharing to you Sun Life's product solutions, gusto ko sana munang i-share sa inyo itong financial planning overview para makita natin kung saan ba na-fit itong insurance products sa ating financial health or sa ating financial plans. So yun, let's get started. But yeah, just an overview. I'd like to share some overview of what I do para you will have also an idea kung you need guidance in any of these aspects sa mga pinagagawa ko. So yeah, back in 2007, I was in Benguet. So doon ako nag-start na tumira sa Benguet and started helping doon sa Mission Church doon sa Buyagan, La Trinidad. And then during my stay there and during working in the missions is I started setting up business. So itong Zenith Enterprises. So it's a virtual, it's an online marketing business. So naka-register siya as a sole proprietorship. So yeah, we have idea on how to set business in the sole proprietorship category. And then eventually, I converted it into a corporation. So yun. So we also have idea if ever you need guidance on how are we going to set up some corporation, ano ba yung the cons and the pros and cons of having a corporation. So doon tayo kumuha ng mga idea nito. And then fast forward, 2015, that's where I started offering BPO services. So ito yung nag-home base na tayo offering our services to different companies. So that was 2015. And in 2017, that's where I started investing in real estate. So, but this one is mostly on condominiums. So I started working with Vista or investing in Vista and Torre Lorenzo SMDC. So if ever, mayroon tayong working knowledge when it comes to itong mga pre-selling ng mga condo, especially at the times of turnover, the mga ganun. And then financing, mga ganun. So, yun. And then 2020, I resumed my studies. So actually, I took biochemistry back in, I think that was 2004, so tagal na, di ba? So, but then, I stopped my studies due to some personal reasons. And then, niresume ko siya and took financial management. I majored financial management doon sa Baguio, sa UC. And thank God, to God be the glory, we graduated as magna cum laude. So that was the pandemic. So we were the first graduate of the pandemic kasi we were about to graduate, but then suddenly sabi nila na may lockdown, no? Yung mga pandemic, we thought, okay, it's just akala namin bakasyon na kasi like 2 months or 3 months is graduation na eh. But then, unfortunately, nagtuloy-tuloy yung pandemic. So, we did there's the virtual ceremony, so we were the first to have that one. And the church celebrated with us. So, yun, kaya meron yung power award namin sa church that time. So, praise God for that one. And then, we plan to launch Sever's Cabin. So, ito is another, it's a corporate company as well. So, ganun yung entity niya. So, however, ito yung vegetable trading business sa Tagaytay. However, during the pandemic we have to pause, although we have the access, but then we focused on doing the relief operation. So if I'm not mistaken, we were the first to do a wide-scale relief operations sa mga stranded na mga estudyante and also the next one is from Ifugao. So it's wide-scale, like from Benguet to Baguio. So we were the first to do that. And then eventually, like days later, meron yung, I think it was BBAC, or yeah, it's not BBAC, it's something like an Ifugao organization who did that as well. And then weeks later, meron nang pre-claim na may mga permits na yung gumagawa ng mga ganito. So people joined in like 2 to 3 weeks later. So naging busy kami during those pandemic times, so we have to pause yung launch ng Sever's Cabin. But then thank God it was launched on 2022. But then, oh, by the way, we also did, we have been assisting schools. Diba, nung na-lockdown yung mga estudyante is they have to do, anong tawag doon? Distance learning. So what we did is, and there was the delay, by the way, of provision or ano yun, yung support from the government when it comes to this office needs ng mga schools. So that's where they need help that time. So yun, so we were able to provide these school materials, mga office supplies sa mga schools, and yung mga radio, mga flash drives sa mga estudyante. So that's what we have been doing during the pandemic. So na-delay yung launch ni Sever's Cabin, but thankfully na-launch din siya noong 2022, so it's still operating until now. So I think it's the most complex business kasi yung one day turnaround time mo pagdating sa gulay na business, no? So yan, so it's still ongoing doon sa Silang Cavite. So that's near Tagaytay. And then on 2022 as well, yung BPO services, I rebranded it to outsource mo very business management services. So ito yung Philippine registration niya. And fast forward, naging LLC siya. So niregister ko siya as an entity in the United States. So that was 2025. So these are the things that I can help or I give guidance to if ever you are into business or any financial aspect that you need once you start working with me as your financial advisor. So, yung mga ganap ko na yan sa buhay, why do I need or why did I enter yung financial coaching industry? So, yan yung mga question ng karamihan. So, bakit ko pa pinasok itong ginagawa ko ngayon? Bakit ako nagiging pushy sa mga sa mga friends and families natin and yung mga kakilala, no, and the people that we meet. The reason for this is during my stay in Benguet or yung mga pinagagawa ko na mission activities is doon ko rin na-witness yung mga people who are going through unexpected circumstances. So being in the mission, nag-assist kasi ako sa mga patients coming from the barrio, mga villages, and then sa mga probinsya. So nag-assist ako whenever I can. So ito yung pagdating ng bayaran ng mga bills is, 'di ba, normal na ngayon sa mga hospital yung mga hundreds of thousands kahit ilang araw ka lang doon sa hospital, especially for even if it's minor cases. So I assist the patients in processing yung mga financial assistance. So doon ka nakikita na marami ang hindi prepared when it comes to unexpected things. And dito nakukuha yung dito nagaganap yung fund pooling, ganon. So they need to raise funds, and yeah, at times I did help raising funds even from the patients' families, mga ganon, and then to explain yung mga the situations, mga ganon, and then even assisting in getting assistance from PCSO, and especially when the patient is indigenous, mayroon silang mga nakukuhang mga benefits. So that's where I came in. So dun ko nakikita na we really need kasi even if we have businesses, even if we have money, limited yung pwede nating maitulong, di ba? So sabi ko, I think there really needs a call for everyone to be prepared for these unforeseen circumstances. But the major turning point was yung na-aksidente yung sister ko dito sa UAE. So nagtambling-tambling yung sasakyan nila, and then unfortunately they had to cut open her head kasi there was bleeding, and they have to extract yung blood before it enters the brain. And then yung arm niya and her leg was also broken into pieces. So ngayon nakatitanium siya. And then yun, during those times these were the moments, especially kapag ganitong situation and your family is abroad. Dito ka na nag-alala kung aside from worrying kung kumusta sila kasi yung limited access kasi sa atin, you can just visit the hospital, di ba? But in this situation is umaasa ka na lang kung sino yung nandun sa hospital and then tumitingin sa kanila. So aside from those kinds of worries is yung financial provision, like how are we going to pay the bills, and then especially in these major cases, di ba? So especially na where she was hospitalized is a top-tier hospital. So in just like around 2 to 3 weeks, imagine yung ganong ka-worse na situation niya, she was able to recover. O, di ba? But thankfully, itong situation niya na to, due to financial preparedness, no, having a safety net is sinagot lahat ng insurance companies. O, di ba? So, kapag nangyayari yung ganitong sitwasyon, sometimes our lifestyle change, di ba? Kasi yun nga na isasangla natin yung hindi natin sana isangla, and then mga savings natin they get consumed, and so our lifestyle change. So you focus on the treatment, and then you focus on the recovery, while you also focus on like recovering yung finances natin. But having a safety net, yun yung advantage niya. Hindi nag-change yung lifestyle natin. So after her recovery, like almost 3 weeks or a month, nung pwede na siyang makalakad, edi yung fund natin sana na pang hospital, edi at least nagamit sa pamamasyal dyan, and then pang shopping. So mayroon pa tayong naiiwi mga pasalubong when we came here. in the UAE. So that was like 2 years ago. So that's the reason that I thought na, okay, I've been there. People are confused. Like, I know about insurance or having a safety net, pero I'm confused. So, yung mga nagpo-promote sa akin, sometimes they lack the um, what product really fits my need. So when I get confused, minsan I just allowed it to lapse because I don't really understand. So nung naisip ko na I really need to have this, if I am to put funds, if I have to set aside money na pinaghihirapan ko, so I have to learn kung sinong company, kung saan ko ilalagay, and then ano ba yung makukuha ko dyan. So, and what are the benefits that I get. So that's the turning point that I thought na, okay, I need to enter this financial coaching industry. That's why I trained for to be this financial advisor, look into the products of Sun Life, and yun, ano ba yung mga, I dig into the products, and then yung concept niya talaga. And for me to be able to share sa mga kakilala natin, and like you who is pinapakinggan ito ngayon, di ba? So, ano nga ba ang financial planning? So, financial planning is ito yung pag-track natin sa ating income, expenses, sa savings, and even sa debt, sa mga utang, and then yung mga investments natin. So, this is the entirety of financial planning. So, let's just look into an overview. Let's call this a financial house. So, ito yung health, or even this is our like financial life. So, having a financial house is paano ba siya nagiging strong, no? So, paano nagiging strong ang foundation ng ating financial house? So, there are three pillars that I would call, let's the safety. So, our finances should have the safety, no? Hindi siya yung madaling mayroon ka ng pinagpaguran or pinag-ipunan, and then suddenly madali siyang nawawala. So there should be the safety, and there should also be the liquidity. Yung kapag kailangan natin, it should be liquid, hindi yung lahat ng pera mo na ipundar sa lupa, and then kapag kailangan mo in the emergencies is mahirapan ka nang i-liquidate yung lupa kasi you have to bargain it. So there should be the liquidity of the funds, no? There should also be the yield. So knowing the inflation is dapat yung pera din natin is there should be the yield, nag-i-interest siya. So those are the three pillars that our financial house should have. So let's look into ano nga ba yung dapat nandun sa foundation niya para ang isang financial house ay matatag. So di ba we have sa isang bahay yung mga poste, mga foundation. So in this financial house, ano yung mga kailangan natin that we have to build on its foundation para matatawag natin matatag ang ating financial house. So first is we should have the emergency funds. So ano nga ba itong emergency funds? This is like 3 to 6 times of your monthly expense. So if your monthly expense is 20,000, dapat meron kang emergency fund na 60,000. So bakit nga ba itong 3 to 6 months? But usually what's recommended even in the companies is like at least 6 months. So itong 6 months na to is 3 to 6 months is at least it will give you time kapag nagka-problema yung cash flow, even the source of your income. At least hindi ka na namomroblema ng pang on your day-to-day, yung mga kailangan mo for your day-to-day living. Kasi you have like 6 months to you have 6 months to adjust kapag nagka-problema yung ating cash flow. That's why itong mga emergency fund, it has to be liquid, which means it has to be accessible. So usually ito yung naitatago natin sa bangko, sa mga co-op. Usually yung co-op is mas maganda kasi it's like 3.4% yung yield niya, and then and then the same with the digital banking. Ito yung ngayon meron na yata yung Maya, yung CIMB, Union Digital. So ang dami nang nagsusiputan na digital banking. So this is the recommended place where we can put our emergency funds. And then aside from that is we should also have the savings. So ito na yung yung mayroon tayong binabalak na bilhin na gadget, yung if we have our travel milestone, or even yung business, kapag mayroon tayong plano na i-set up na business. So dito papasok yung funds na kailangan mo, ilalagay mo siya sa savings. Karamihan kasi sa atin, we only have one account, and tinatawag na natin lahat yun as savings, no? So it's best to separate emergency funds and the savings for the planned expenses, di ba? And the same, it should be liquid as well. So dapat nasa bangko lang siya or sa digital banking or even in the co-op. And the third one to complete this one is the insurance, no? So ito na yung life insurance, and then ito na rin yung health insurance like PhilHealth, mga ganon. So bakit nasa last siya? The reason for this is insurance is a commitment and it's usually long term, no? So kapag nagka-problema yung cash flow, at least na you have the emergency funds to fund it. Karamihan kasi meron yung iba na because they want this kind of coverage is ito na lang yung binabayaran nila, wala silang savings, wala silang emergency funds. So pagdating ng panahon that they cannot pay, dito naglalapse yung mga insurance, no? So we have to set up our emergency funds and the savings for this to continue. So yun, dito na papasok yung health such as PhilHealth, mga Medicare, mga ganun, no? So when it comes to life insurance, ano nga ba yung ideal na target natin na protection fund? So di ba, when you get an insurance, meron yung mga coverage na sinasabi, and it's also dependent on the premium that you are paying every month. So, but the ideal thing to set up here is for an insurance, you should target like 120 time your monthly expenses times 120. So ano yung 120 na yan? So this is equivalent to 10 years. So kapag ang monthly expense natin is 20,000, our ideal income protection should be times 120 should be 2.4 million. So for a family, for a breadwinner that has a monthly expense of 20,000. So bakit 10 years? Kasi imagine na yung breadwinner natin is nawala and the expenses of the family is 20,000. Even from the day one na itong breadwinner natin is nag-sign up and he was insured from day one, kahit isang buwan pa lang binabayaran niya, the insurance company will give this 2.4 million to the beneficiaries. So, assuming na si Juan is may 20,000 expenses every month, including yung pag-aaral ng mga, so this is just a conservative figure, no? Pagpapaaral ng mga bata, and then mga bills nila. So yung naiwan so when by the time na nawala na si Juan sa picture ng family, this 2.4 million is being given to the family. So even from day one, no, na may accident na nangyari, and then no, yung mga hindi natin inaasahan, no. So mayroong itong naibibigay sa family. And it will give 10 years is more than enough for the family to recover or even to and even to find for another source of income, to build a source of income. So at times they may need to build a business. So pwedeng dito sila kukuha, no? And so kaya meron yung 10 years or 120 para it gives enough time for the family to recover from the loss and to build another source of income na yun yung binibuild or ini-income ni breadwinner na nawala. So ito yun. So although we can start kapag yung expenses mo is napakalaki, ano, and then it costs like hundreds of or tens of millions. So you can start small and then add as long as nakakaroon ng budget. So ganun yun. When it comes to health naman, 'di ba nakikita natin this is according to i-compare mo. Ito yung mga usual cost ng mga critical illness sa Pilipinas. So stroke would cost you 1.8 million, acute heart attack 980, breast cancer is 440K. So I can really attest na totoo to, no? Kasi when my tita got this breast cancer, yung hospital bills niya is umabot ng 300K in just one hospital. Hindi pa included yung ibang hospital and expenses na pinanggalingan niya. So more or less ganito siya. So yan yung cost of getting a critical illness in the Philippines. Assuming na yung isang tao is may heart attack, no? So yung cost ng treatment niya is 980,000. Ito yung cost of treatment kapag may heart attack si patient. And yung top tier na binibigay ni PhilHealth na package is yung 520,000. So meron siyang PhilHealth. So now the family is left to raise fund of 460,000 para sa bills, medical bills. And alam naman natin na si PhilHealth is hindi siya yung meron yung mga conditions, di ba? Not really na kapag nakita mo yung package, okay, ito yung top tier na ibibigay ni PhilHealth. Sometimes, due to some terms and conditions, meron yung appropriate package na binibigay doon kay patient. So the next tier, I believe, for the stroke is from 520, I think it's like 100 something. I think it's like 120 yung binibigay yung next tier ni PhilHealth. So assuming na yun yung tier ni patient na nagkasakit ng ganun na stroke, no? That means the family is left to raise fund of like 800K. So ganun kamahal yung uh, yung medical cost natin dito sa Pinas, no. So ano yung ideal na coverage when it comes to health, yung mga critical illness? So it is suggested that it should be 5 times your annual income. So kapag meron kang health plan, excuse me, um, you should target like 5 times your annual income. Yun sana yung target na amount natin. So once you have the emergency funds, savings, and insurance, then it's now time to move to investment. So investment, this would be the mutual funds. Ito na yung stocks, ito na yung MP2, and ito yung VUL. The reason that we need to do investment rather than saving all our money sa bank is because we have to beat inflation. So nakita naman natin, di ba? Recently, recently the war is tumaas yung gasolina. Yung dati na full tank mo na 4,000, naging 8,000 na yung full tank. So that's like 4,000 increase. Kung yung sahod mo that month, hindi naman tumaas ng 4,000. If let's say, nafufutang po yung sasakyan mo in every month. So it's just like a picture. So nakikita natin, yung pera natin na-devaluate as time goes by. So we need to invest in instruments na merong growth, no? Merong yield. So when we talk of investment, these are usually actually long-term. So meron tayong mga mutual funds options, yung mga stocks, yung direct na nag-invest ka sa mga stocks, sa stock market, no? And there's the MP2, this is from the Pag-ibig. So meron siyang return na, I think, 2 or 3%, I'm not sure. So yun, so it's best to also allocate, diversify your fund to invest in these instruments. And then there's the VUL. So that's the good thing also about the insurance kasi dati yung insurances natin is, di ba, nakukuha mo lang siya kapag nakukuha lang benefit kapag namatay si insured. Kaya resistant or hesitant yung karamihan kasi they think, makukuha lang yung benefit kapag ako namatay. Mga ganun, di ba? But then now there are options such as the VUL. Well, ano nga ba yung VUL na yan? So itong VUL na to is when you start paying for it's a type of insurance na meron siyang benefit na investment. So that's why it's called a variable unit link kasi yung part ng binabayaran mo is napupunta siya sa investment. Usually these are stocks, no? And so when we talk about stocks is it should be long term. Let's say like kasi sa direct stock investment in my experience 5 years is like medium term. So the long term talaga na makikita natin na may potential earning. And by the way, investment is not guaranteed, no? It has potential. But then if you're going to target long term, let's say 10 years to 20 years, meron yung growth ng fund mo. So ito yung ino-offer natin na ino-offer ng mga insurance companies na investment link na insurance. So yung mga monthly na binabayaran mo, it goes to a stocks investment. And over the years, let's say by the time na nasa retirement age ka na or let's say 10 to 20 years later, meron yung value na potential growth ng fund na binabayad mo doon sa insurance company. And while you have your funds growing is meron din yung you're also covered with sickness, kung meron mang accident and then meron mang when there's a death, yung sinasabi nilang SAD, no? Sickness, accident, and death, you also covered, no? May makukuha si family mo if ever something happened to you while some of your funds are invested. So, and usually mga insurance na to is it covers you up to 100 years old. So that's the VUL. And then another option is the fixed income. So ito naman yung mga tinatawag na endowment. So like you invest your money and then meron yung fixed income na binibigay sa'yo as an interest, something like that. And the good thing about this is meron ding product si Sun Life, no, when it comes to insurance na wherein you are also covered, you have an insurance, you have a life coverage. At the same time, one product would say at the end of, you're going to pay for 10 years but on the 6th year, meron kang 15,000 na nakukuha every year guaranteed up to age 100. So parang 15,000 for life from paying 10 years sa product na to. So it's called a fixed income plan. So it's a good thing, like you are investing, quote-unquote investing, kasi bakit, the good thing about this fixed income plan is there's the fixed payment period, there's the guaranteed cash na nakukuha mo, no? And then dividends. So kapag kumikita si insurance company or yung insurance company is mayroong dividends na nakukuha yung mga members, di ba? So that's the good thing about the fixed income thing. And the next one would be Once you have the investment, then you can now move on to the next year, which is the business. So bakit nasa taas yung business? Kasi according to statistics, 20% of businesses fail on their first year, and then 50% fail on the fifth year, 80% fail on the 10th year. So ibig sabihin, kapag may 10 businesses, 2 yung bumabagsak on the first year. And then on the fifth year, 5 na lang yung natira dun sa 10. And on the 10th year, 2 na lang. So when you have a business that is past 5 years, well, give yourself a pat kasi you are striving. And then once you're over 10 years, then congratulations, your business has the stability. So the reason na nailalast to kasi if ever na nag-fail yung business, at least you still have the funds, no? Nakasecure ka pa rin dito sa baba. No? Hindi ka nag-back to zero. And then you can even start again with doing another approach or strategy for your business. Then once you have the business and all those things set up, dito na papasok yung mga dream house natin, mga we can invest in real estate, mga sasakyan, di ba? So ito na yung mga dream or goals natin kasi na-set up na yung mga finances natin dito. However, karamihan sa atin is baliktad. Di ba? So nung nagkaroon tayo ng pera, first na binili natin sasakyan, and then bahay, we have to nagpatayo tayo ng bahay, bili ng lupa, mga ganun-ganun. But this kind of setup is sinasabi niya na high risk kasi wala siyang investment, wala siyang emergency funds, walang savings, and walang insurance. So nagpundar agad tayo dito sa mga high value properties. And ang tanong, what happens if yung breadwinner or si Juan is nagkasakit, no? And then that sickness is like a critical illness. So more or less yung nangyayari dito is yung mga napupundar na mga sasakyan, mga bahay, no, is kung hindi siya naisasangla, na ibebenta at a lower cost. Kasi wala siyang coverage sa taas di ba? Or even what if the breadwinner or the breadwinner passed away. So, and then hindi pa pala tapos nabayaran yung mga to. Yung mga pinaghirapan niya ng mga ilang taon, hindi pa tapos nabayaran. And dahil walang makabayad sa naiwan niyang pamilya, it is forfeited. So, di ba, sayang yung years of his effort in building this wealth na wala siyang safety net nung nawala siya or even nung nagkasakit siya kasi wala siyang insurance, wala siyang savings, wala siyang emergency funds. However, actually, for me, ganito rin yung setup ko. When I started earning, doon ko nag-focus ako sa condo real estate investment. So, dami kong kinuhang mga condo units and then eventually, they piled up. O, di ba? Pagdating na panahon, malapit na yung mga turnover, you have to settle all the balances. And then doon ko na-realize, and then last year, doon ako nagkasakit, di ba? And I thought it was worse. Pero buti na lang, it's only a stone. Kasi akala ko talaga appendicitis kasi grabe yung sakit. So naisip ko, what if I went through an operation and then may nangyari sa akin? So sabi ko, if may nangyari pala sa akin and then my family or even, my family cannot pay my financial obligation sa mga real estate na pinagkukuhanan ko, kasi naka-pre-selling sila, di ba? Hindi pa sila naka-loan. Ibig sabihin, hindi pa na-turnover. Kasi usually, kapag ni-loan mo yung mga real estate, let's say condo, meron kang MRI. Meron ding insurance yon na kapag may mangyari sa'yo, it's automatically paid up. But having a pre-selling, andun yung mga down payments mo, sa malaki-laking halaga na rin. So what if may nangyari sa akin tapos walang makabayad sa monthly ko? That means the real estate developer or the property owner, the developer can forfeit. So sabi ko, imagine yung pinaghirapan ko ng dekada, parang nawala na parang bula kasi walang mababayad because I am not covered with insurance. So, kaya doon ko sineryoso itong, kaya I thought I need to fix my financial house. So, yun, I went back and now I am actually building my emergency fund and then the savings, and I already set up my insurance. And it's a process, no? Kasi we are to protect magkano ba yung pinoprotect natin na value. So that's the target of the insurance that we are getting. So dahil bago lang tayo dito, we can, and then wala pa sa ating budget for this one, and we can start actually small and then build your portfolio para ma-cover yung entirety ng kailangan mo na i-insure na mga properties or mga investments. So ayun. So the good thing about this lately, yung mga insurance companies like Sun Life is they have different product solutions to meet yung kailangan natin na safety net or financial security. So yung nabanggit ko kanina, so there's like three that I recommend actually. Top three that I recommend is the VUL plan. So yung target dito, so this is the common thing, the common insurance, no? So yung target, but what I suggest as a financial advisor is yung target dito is we're going to utilize yung investment feature niya, no? So VUL, you are covered, there's life coverage, no? But there's a component wherein you can, the funds that you are putting there is invested to stocks, no? So my approach here, I would suggest is, ito yung, you have a VUL plan and then you top up as much fund as possible in the times of earning. So pwede kang nagdadagdag dyan ng funds mo. And itong funds na to is napupunta siya directly doon sa, yung mga excess, yung mga top ups na funds, napupunta siya sa stocks. O, di ba? And then it will give the power for the money to earn over the long-term period. Meron din yung endowment plan. So itong endowment plan is ito yung nabanggit ko kanina na you have to pay a certain amount of money over a certain period of time. So let's say 5,000 per month for 10 years. However, on the 6th year, mayroon ka nakukuha na 15,000 endowment or payout until age 100. So parang yan literally is parang for life, di ba? Na parang for up to age 100, meron kang nakakuha na endowment na 15,000. At the same time, you are covered with life. So if something happens to you, mayroong makukuha si beneficiary din na yung face amount ng nakuha mo na plan. And the third one is the comprehensive plan, health plan. So ito naman is yung it has a coverage of like up to 112 critical illnesses. So normally, yung mga riders or add-ons ng health plan sa mga critical illness sa mga different companies is up to 30. But this one is like 112. And your coverage is up to 100 years old. Oh, di ba? So kapag even if you are like 70 or 80 years old, you got a critical illness, there's the coverage, makukuha mo yung fund. And then kapag healthy ka naman, meron ding naibabalik sa iyo at the age of 60. So this is very good option for those who are healthy. Kasi once na meron na tayong problem sa health or past history, mahirap makuha itong plan na to because it's like, it's comprehensive, no? So it depends really kung ano yung priority natin ngayon. Like, do you want to invest as much as possible in the stock market while having a coverage? Then you can go for VUL. It's also a cheaper option. And then do you want like as early as like 6th year, meron kang nakukuha every year, then you can go to endowment plan. But if you are health conscious, just to protect, especially, I would really recommend yung comprehensive health plan. Kasi dito, alam natin na yung bills ngayon ng hospital noon is like 30,000, 50,000, okay na yun, di ba? Ngayon is normal na ang millions, no? When you have the critical illness. So I would really recommend this as well habang we are young and healthy and meron tayong chances of approval. Kasi kapag meron na tayong health issues, mahirap na na-approve dito sa plan na to. And then, kapag meron na tayong extra, then we can add, we can review. So that's where papasok si financial advisor. So yun dapat yung role namin, no? So yun yung mga hinahanap ko na time. So paano tayo magbabudget? So this is like a general rule. Like our income, the 60% should go to expenses, and then 20% should go to leisure, and 20% is savings. But this is like, it's just a general one. It actually depends on you. Kasi for example, kung kumikita ka ng 100,000, alangan naman na 20,000 every month yung i-set aside mo for leisure. Di ba? That's extravagant. So you can look really into this one. But then, the golden rule here is 20% of all our earnings should be set aside for savings and investment. And dito na makukuha yung insurance plan cost. And ito rin yung tinuturo lahat ng mga nagtuturo ng investment. Now, when you go to stocks investment, mga ganon, they recommend that you put like 20% of your income. Doon mo kukunin yung investment mo. Bakit? Kasi when we say investment, it's not really guaranteed. There's a potential of loss, but there's a potential of earning. So sugal lang siya. So, but most of the times is when it's long term, meron ka talagang earning. So that's why we need to diversify. So bakit siya 20%? Kasi ito yung mga bagay na if this is the pie, no, the circle, yung pie, 20% of the pie is actually small, di ba? And then you think of it na itong sineset aside mo na maliit, count it as expenses, yung ginastos mo lang, di ba? Magkano ba ang 20% ng monthly mo? E di, isipin mo na lang na yun yung pinang-treat mo sa dinner sa friend in 1 month. Or isipin mo, ilan ba ang kape mo sa Starbucks ng ilang month. Pwede ako nag-Starbucks. Or yung mga ibang expense ba. Ganun, di ba kapag ginastos mo, hindi mo na iniisip. So that's the 20%. Kapag sinet aside mo yon, forget about it. Di ba? And it does not really shake your financial needs kasi 20% lang siya. So let's not look into the amount, but then yung sa percentage niya. Pero itong sineset aside mo na akala mo nawala can actually save you in the long run. Kapag may mangyayari sa atin, let's say critical illness, di ba? Or even if we passed away, it can actually save the financial health of the family na naiwan natin. Or even kapag nagkasakit tayo ng critical illness, it can save us from burning all our savings and even all our mga pinundar na mga properties. O di ba? That kind of 20%. So, yun yung budgeting. So, actually, that's where I can help as your financial advisor, and then we can look into the budgeting. So yeah, I hope this helps, and that's where these products or the insurance solutions come into picture. So just let me know kung saan kayo interested, which is your focus. Like, do you want a VUL, endowment plan, a comprehensive health plan? And then send me lang your birth date, and then I can create a proposal and tingnan natin yung budget and how are we going to approach this. Or if you have other considerations, we will look into it as well onto other products na pwedeng i-recommend. Like, do we have a parents? Do we have some family na mayroong current condition na hindi na ma-approve ng insurance? So we also have a product from Sun Life which is guaranteed insurability na kahit they are old, up to 70, and they are sick, may maintenance man yan or whatever, they can be insured, no? So there are different products, but these are the top products that I just recommend. We can look into others kung mayroon kayong specific needs. So yeah, I hope we learned something here, especially in setting up our financial health, our financial house. So thank you very much for the time. It took us like almost 37 minutes. But I really appreciate, and I hope meron tayong natutunan on this sharing of financial planning. So yeah, thank you very much, and talk soon.